Hey folks, it's Ardwulf. Welcome. Today we're going to do another unboxing video, this time of the new second edition of Next War Korea from GMT Games and designer Mitchell Land, from the original design from Crisis Korea 1995, I believe was the full title, designed by Gene Billingsley. So let's take a look at this. It's in a standard, more or less standard anyway, 2-inch GMT box. Feels like one of the thicker ones. So let's crack this guy open. Now, I do have the rest of the games in the series. This was released simultaneously with the Next War expansion number 2, which I didn't get just because it wasn't quite going to work out money-wise at the time, which seems stupid because this was way more expensive than the expansion. But nevertheless, that's how it worked out. So, Next War Korea. Let's open her up and see what we have. Nice tight box, as usual, and this is indeed one of the thicker boxes, quite firm. Very, very firm. So we have a packed to the gills box here. Let's see what we get. We have the Next War Korea Game-Specific Rules, 2nd edition. This is a 28-page book. Table of contents. Looks like these are, in fact, all of the game-specific rules. And we do have some scenarios in the back, too. We have both standard scenarios and the advanced scenarios. I haven't played much of this series. We fooled around with it for a few hours at Buckeye Game Fest last year. I guess it was last year now, thinking about it. And we liked what we saw, but we didn't feel like we had the time to invest in it because it was something we were doing on the side to justify us really coming to an understanding of the system, obviously. The standard, what I can tell you is that the advanced game is a large step up in complexity from the standard game. So that's the game-specific rules. We have the standard and advanced series rules, and the standard rules run to about, looks like 20 pages here, where the advanced rules run for the other 24 pages. So we have total 44 pages. Nationality identification chart with some interesting nationalities on here. I wonder if this is for the entire series. I have to believe that it is, since I doubt that the Polish will be fighting in the Korean conflict. So we have a map. We have 2 maps, actually. This does not feel like the usual GMT stock. It feels a little thicker and yet a little more flexible. That could totally be my imagination. I don't know. But I think these are fairly handsome maps. They're not exactly done in the exact same style that you get from a lot of GMT games, meaning that I don't think they're Mark Simonich maps. Do I have credits here somewhere to see who did the maps? Let's take a look. Usually they're right here. Map art, Mark Simonich. Okay, I'm on dope. It is, in fact, Mark Simonich art. It looks a little different. I mean, it doesn't look completely out of place with what we get out of GMT maps. Don't get me wrong. But maybe I've just seen a lot of Mark Simonich's maps in his designs, and that's what I'm thinking of. So we have counter sheets. This is, okay, there's a lot of counter sheets, actually. We have 5.5 counter sheets. Now, unless I'm mistaken, these are going to be the 9/16" counters, and they are all on this thicker brown core stock. Just to demonstrate that you cannot possibly keep wargamers happy at all times, there was somebody on Consim World, I forget who it is, and I probably wouldn't mention the name if I remembered it, who was complaining that the recent GMT releases have had counter stock that was too thick. I think that is an absolutely outrageously bizarre complaint. But, you know, it takes all kinds, I suppose. So we have, again, 5.5 counter sheets. We presume these are North Koreans, maybe South Koreans. Yeah, that looks very likely. We got U.S. here, U.S. Marines, it looks like. More North Koreans and more South Korean stuff. Presumably, we have the Chinese here somewhere. That's probably these guys. And over here, it looks like we have some general NATO guys of some kind. I don't know enough about the series, although we do have this handy recognition chart. Are those Japan? That's possible. Very possible that those are Japanese units and British units or Commonwealth units. In this case, I guess that means UK and AU. So a lot of counters in this. 5.5 sheets. Now they're 5/8 inch counters, or not 5/8, but looks like 9/16 again. I'm not measuring them right now. So it's not as many as it sounds like, but this is still a substantial game. All right, we got play aids. We have standard and advanced game tables. That is a single double-sided 8.5 by 11 card. Standard game sequence of play, advanced game air defense resolution. A lot of what the advanced game adds is air system. Advanced sequence of play. This is again a single double-sided 8.5 by 11 card, and these are on reasonably heavy card stock, I think. Strike effects table and master allied reinforcement chart. Be curious to look at the scenarios in this, because typically the scenarios in this series that I've seen give you a pretty varied mix of different literal scenarios. As far as, the exact situation, is there strategic surprise? Is there not? Here's a game information display with a general records track and boxes for special forces missions and units that have surrendered. That's single-sided. We have advanced game tables, and there's 2 of these. And these little folios, these are fold out 11 by 17s here. And this all looks like all of this is advanced game tables. We have 2 terrain effects charts, which are, terrain effects charts. But there's a, fair bit to the movement in this game. It's not just a hex cost so much to enter. On the back, we have combat results tables. I remember thinking that there's something interesting about this combat results table. And you can see that the different types of terrain will tell you where your actual odds land you on the table as far as what column you are on. That's not a new idea. OCS uses that, for example. Gauss uses that. But I think this is probably a good place, a good system for that kind of level of detail to be. So we got that. We have a big display. This is probably the advanced air display. No, yes, no. Well, it's an air display. Not sure if it's for the advanced game specifically or not. It might not be. You got a whole thing here for allied carriers. That's very interesting. Makes total sense. All right, so in here we have a bag of baggies. I will find a use for these at some point, even though I poo-poo baggies all the time, and I always find a use for them sooner or later. We have 2 10-sided dice, a gray and a red, in a more or less random color selection, although the North Koreans are kind of red. And we have one of these box inserts. Now, I have mixed feelings about this. I would personally have preferred, this is a minor complaint, right? I would personally have preferred a counter tray in this box rather than this box insert, which I have nothing to do with except throw this in the recycling. In fact, I have now thrown it into the recycling because I am not going to be able to fit the rest of the stuff back in the box with a counter tray or 2, which just probably needs at least 2, and accommodate that box insert too. I would just as soon GMT save the money on that, and they're not the only people doing this either, of course. I would just as soon see, I don't need that, I don't use it, especially not in a box this size, and something larger like, say, Nevsky or something like that. I can see it because it's a 3-inch box and there's blocks and stuff like that. This is a little different. This is going to get organized in counter trays, for me anyway, and I'm going to have probably be fairly hard pressed to get it all in this box. So this is going to go on the shelf with the other 3 entries in the series that I have, and presumably we will see Next War Vietnam sometime, maybe even this year. We'll see. Next War Korea. This is the game that originally interested me in this series in the first place, and then of course by that time it was out of print. So I've been waiting for a long time to get this back in my hands for the first time. I've never owned this or the previous game that it is based on. What the specific relationship between those 2 games are, I'm not sure that I can tell you. They I believe share core systems, but otherwise I think they're different games. But I don't have Crisis Korea 1995, so I can't really tell you. Very handsome box. Very nice package. It looks like that if you get into this, and this may be something that we get, I expect, let me rephrase that. I expect us to get this to the table here in town at some point. The Next War series, whether it will be this one or one of the other ones, I don't know. But I do expect to see this get played at some point. So I want to thank everyone for watching. As of this filming, we are still approaching 2,000 subscribers, and when we hit it, there will be 2 giveaways. So stay tuned for those. You'll know the videos when you see them. Again, I want to thank everybody for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. Everybody have a good night. I will see you next time.